Welcome back, y'all, to Monday Night Chats.
Welcome back to Monday Night Chat, y'all. It's good to be back.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Hope y'all are having a wonderful, wonderful start to your week. And
Mm-hmm.
thank you all so much for starting your week off with us here Monday night. We certainly thank each and every one of you for tuning in. Now, if you haven't already, I need you all to stop what you're doing and go on and hit the like button and
Yes.
then share this with others that you think would enjoy our topics of discussion here at Homestead Heart and on our Monday night chats.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, we're not going to belabor the point. You know, we like to get right into it.
Let's get right
But
into
we
it.
do thank each and every one of you for
Yes.
joining us, though. We really, 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 really appreciate that. So, what is on our minds tonight? What is on our minds? What is it that we want to talk to y'all about tonight that we feel is very important? And that is to let you know it's not too early to start planning right now.
Yes. It's not too early to start planning at this moment because the present is the perfect time for the future planning
Mm-hmm.
of what we're going to talk about.
Yes,
We
it
always
is.
want to be, 2 steps ahead. We don't want to be behind.
Right.
We want to make sure that we are able to grow our own groceries
Grow your groceries,
because
right?
everything's getting going up. So hey, once we get these groceries in the ground, they come up. There's more money in y'all pockets.
That's true. That's true. So, what are we talking about tonight? We're talking about it's never too early to start planning your spring garden. I'm going to be honest, 2026 is literally around the corner. This is
Yes.
October, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in just a few short months, some of you are going to be starting your pepper plants. Like we will be starting ours in just 3 months in January, right? So it's that close to think that in just 3 months, we're going to be starting seeds for our spring garden,
Just
right?
think about it. 90 days.
That's not a lot of
Just
time.
think about it because we think it's a lot of time because we're gonna go through this rough winter.
It might not be that bad though. The winter might be actually kind of mild. I can't see it being a rough winter.
Yeah.
It's already October and it don't even feel like fall.
Yeah.
It's hot out there.
It is hot. And then another thing is preparing early is because these pests, they all over the place. They haven't died out yet. So preparing
Mm-hmm.
the soil and getting, like wood chips on top of the ground
Yeah,
and getting the soil ready is so important.
it is. It really is. So let's go ahead and get to it, you all, so we can
Yes.
start talking about preparing for the 2026 growing season.
Yes.
Now, the first point that I want to share with you all when it comes to you and your gardening, I want you to start right now. The first thing that you do to prepare for your garden is to actually visualize what it is that you want your garden to look like, right? And of course, you have
Mm-hmm.
to include your budget and all of that into this. So include your budget into this, but
Yeah.
start visualizing what you want your garden to look like.
Yes.
What do you want to grow? You have to start thinking about that now because if you can see it
Mm-hmm.
first, if you can visualize it, then you can make it a reality. But you got to see it here first, right?
Yeah.
You got to visualize your garden being productive with food growing everywhere, and
Mm-hmm.
you can see where you want what to grow, and you want to see your bell peppers over here and your onions and garlic over here. You want to see beautiful flowers over there, right? Start visualizing
Yes.
what you want your garden to look like and put that on paper.
Yeah. And you can have tomatoes in this area,
Mhm. Mhm.
and squash.
Mhm.
Oh, cucumbers.
That's
Just think
right.
about it. The
That's right.
eggplants. It's so much that you can grow and you can
Mhm.
visualize exactly how you want it to look,
Yeah.
and just think ahead of time. What did you enjoy most? What do you love to eat most?
Mhm. Mhm. And visualize that growing in your garden.
Mm-hmm.
Also visualize that garden being a place of peace, a
Yes.
place that is tranquil, right? A
Mm-hmm.
place of tranquility. That's what you want. You want when you step into your garden, you want to feel that, ah,
Yeah.
you want to feel like you can go out and relax and
Yeah.
just enjoy what you're doing, whether it's cutting off bell pepper or tomatoes, or maybe you are out there planting some seeds to grow. You're visualizing a garden that is not only productive with food, but is also your place of peace, your safe haven, if you will. And for me, and Mr. H, well, I'll say this first. So in the garden, I have a music playlist that I play when
Yeah.
I'm in the garden. If I'm by myself, I'll play this playlist because it is so uplifting. And I
Yeah.
think this playlist is still in our Homestead Heart playlist of music and all of that we put in the garden, our garden playlist. But I will start off with that. And when I'm out there just trying to plan my garden out, I'm looking at everything. And I do this every year. I go
Yeah.
out. Mr. H will tell you he doesn't
Yeah.
even bother me when I'm doing that,
Yeah.
except I might say, do you think this will look good right here? And then he'll say, yeah, I think it'll look good. And I'll be like, yeah, okay. I think I'm going to put it over there though. Oh no, I think I'll put it right. I'm thinking about all of this because I'm trying to think of a place that when we walk into our garden, we have that inner peace, something that comes over you to just calm you. You may be stressed and you go out in
Hmm.
that garden and it distresses you, you know. So when I go out into the garden, if I'm out there planning or working by myself or whatever, I will put that playlist on and I'm just out there bobbing and dancing, having a good time in the garden while I work. So think about all of the things that would make you happy when you walk into your garden and put that down on paper.
Yeah. Put it down on paper. And also, what I didn't believe in that worked, what she did was put all those colors in the garden.
Hmm.
She has the bright yellow, the blues, she have the chimes. She wanted the water for the small little
The birds.
birds,
Hmm.
and I plan on hanging out in the garden long hours, I would
Hmm.
say, but the mosquitoes ran me out. The, the pests ran me out. I had plans, y'all. I was
Yeah.
gonna put a gazebo out. I mean, big plans on what I was gonna do, but it got so hot to where we couldn't stay out there long. But
Yeah.
hopefully, 2026, it won't be like that where we can spend a lot of time, enjoying the outdoors and the
Yeah,
garden.
yeah. And
You
even if
know,
we have to, we'll put a screen or something up
that's a good
so that we
idea.
could sit out there and not have to worry about mosquitoes. We
Hmm.
know we can burn citronella and other things too that we could probably use, essential oils and all of that
Yeah.
to, kind of put around us and all of that to be able to keep the mosquitoes and stuff away. Because I'm telling you, even in the hottest part of the day, if you step into the shade, the mosquitoes are there waiting for you.
Yeah, we was out there one time and we was like, we gonna chill for a minute. It's so
Hmm.
beautiful. The
Yeah,
mosquitoes start hitting Mrs. H, but
they will tear me up.
they wasn't messing with me. But a couple of hours later, they started hitting me. I'm like, Mrs. H, you right. They was everywhere,
They were
y'all.
tearing us up, and it was the middle of the day. Like mosquitoes ain't supposed to be out this time of
I'm
day.
like, what can we do? What can we do with these mosquitoes? Because
Right,
we
right,
want to
right.
chill in this garden. She got the beautiful design, the different color trellises, and
Hmm.
all these beautiful colors. And I was like, I know I'm gonna enjoy this day.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like she said, we probably have to plan and put some screening in, and kind of make it to where we can stay out there for a couple of hours longer.
And just relax.
Yeah.
Hmm. Now, another thing you might want to think about too is, like Mr. H was saying just a moment ago, is your soil.
Yeah.
What do you need to do to get your soil ready, right? After you have this beautiful visualization of what you want your garden to look like and all of the colors, the design, well, what about the soil now?
Hmm.
Because you got to be able, your plants are only going to be as healthy as your soil. Okay. So you have to start thinking about how are you going to amend the soil. If you have a chicken coop, well,
Mm-hmm.
of course, that's an excellent way to amend your soil. And you'll want to use the chicken manure in the soil once it has been fully composted.
Mm-hmm.
But you'll use that and just spread that over the top and just kind of work that into the top 2, 3 inches of the soil, right? Some people would say do a soil test.
Yeah.
And we don't do soil tests really here unless we feel like there's a problem.
Yeah.
But we really just don't do soil tests.
Yeah.
So if you are wanting to do a soil test, you absolutely can do that. But for us, we just kind of repeat the process year after year. We may make some changes, depending on what it is that we want to do. But amending our soil is very important, and we will use our composted chicken manure, worm castings, even. And also, if we have feather meal and bone meal or something like that, we'll use that.
Yeah.
And we'll even use azomite, which is, minerals, right? We'll even use the azomite
Yeah.
in the soil.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we have recently gotten loads of wood chips.
Yes.
And so we're going to put that in our garden too, because we once had wood chips in our garden.
Yes.
But like we said, it's been so many years since we was able to get a good amount that they just broke down.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're just depleted. We don't have that in our gardens at this time, but we do have wood chips. So if wood chips is something you're going to be using as a cover for your garden,
Mm-hmm.
that's something you can consider. You're not going to grow in the wood chips, and please don't mix the wood chips into your soil. It's just a covering.
Yeah. Now,
Okay.
on top of the soil, what you can do is use leaves.
Mm-hmm.
I plan on collecting leaves. I'm gonna put those leaves on top. Let them break down in the soil to build that soil up.
Mm-hmm.
Because we had a good season when we did that.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna go back to it.
Yeah. You just want to break them up though. Don't just dump leaves on top of your garden, because nothing will come up. It'll be like a mat. Okay. So you want to make sure like those leaves, take them and put them inside, unless you're tilling them in the ground. That's different. If you're going to till them in, that's fine. But if you're using them as a cover, you don't want them to be just matted all on top of each other like that. You want them to be nice, and you can put them in a bag or something and just let them break down. In fact, this is a good time.
Mm-hmm.
It's the fall season. Leaves are beginning to fall. So you can gather your leaves and
leave
put
them in
a
bag.
Yeah, leave them in the.
Leave 'em
We've
in the
left
bag.
leaves in the bags, you all, over the fall and winter months, and come back to them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, like in the summertime, they are literally. You can literally pick them up and do like this. They have already started breaking down, but you got to put holes in the bag.
Mm-hmm.
You got to water them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm always going to suggest that you inoculate those leaves to help them break down faster. And you can do that by adding coffee grounds. You can do that by adding composted chicken manure.
Mm-hmm.
Just add something with some, especially the compost, add something with some microbial life, because that's going to also help to break down. It's going to attract worms to the bag.
Mm-hmm.
We dumped those leaves out and it was full of worms.
Yeah.
It was full of earthworms.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can do that. That's a good thing to do as a cover over your crops as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, once you start growing, you're going to see some results.
You will see results. Leaf compost is a big thing, and you will pay top dollar for leaf compost. They call it leaf mold or whatever, but it's just broken down leaves. That's all it is. It's broken down leaves, so it's just composted leaves, but they work perfect in the garden. So that's something you want to think about, making sure your soil is amended properly, right?
Mm-hmm.
And also you can start thinking about, like, right now, where you want to start getting your amendments from.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, we use feather meal here. We didn't use feather meal this past year.
Yeah.
We use what we had.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can decide how much you're going to need for your growing space.
Mm-hmm.
Think about whatever it is that you're going to be growing. You're going to be needing to apply that fertilizer more than once throughout the growing season. So what do you need? So that's something you can consider, amending the soil, getting it ready for the growing season.
Yes, yes. And getting a head start, I'm telling you, it means a lot because
Mm-hmm.
you have so much going on once
Mm-hmm.
that spring come around.
Oh my goodness.
Everything start happening like a
Just
spin
like that.
cycle. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
so once you get all these things knocked out,
And I be telling the stage, we gotta do this, we gotta do that, we
yeah,
gotta do this, we gotta
yeah.
do. So we I'm telling you, y'all, we so look forward to like well, at least I do. Miss Stage don't really like the cold weather.
Oh, I don't know.
But when it comes to like late October, November, December, January, I look forward to those months because it's cold outside and it gives me a moment to come inside and just focus on my garden and relax and chill out
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and get my mind together for what's about to be an explosive growing season, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because once the work starts, it ain't stopping.
Yeah,
You know,
it's one thing after
it
after
is.
the next. The more you can get taken care of early, the
Mm-hmm.
better.
The better, the
You know.
better, the better.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. That's true. So think about that, your plan, and what you're going to do to amend your soil, and make sure you have those materials on hand and ready to go.
Yeah.
You'll be surprised at how early in the spring, how fast they stock the shelves with those things.
Yeah.
And then when you go to get them, they're not there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so think about that as
Mm-hmm.
well.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, after the hard work, then come ease.
After the hard work comes a little bit of ease. So
Yes.
that's why I look forward to October, November, December, and January because I have a little bit of ease, right?
Uh-huh.
But I'm still but it doesn't stop there though because you're still inside using those months for something else. But we'll get into that at another time.
Yes.
Okay. Another thing you want to think about when it comes to planning your garden, and this is perhaps a very critical thing to consider, and that is how you're going to water your garden.
Yes.
Okay. You'll be surprised at how many people choose to water their gardens by hand
Yeah.
and then quickly realize in the heat of the day or morning, in the heat of the morning, when you
Yeah.
got to water those crops maybe twice a day,
Yeah.
who don't want to stand outside in all that heat watering all them crops is me.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have to think about how you want to water your plants, whether it's some type of
Irrigation, drip tape.
yeah,
With the timer.
yeah, definitely use a timer.
The
That way you
timer.
ain't got to run out there and turn the water hose on and all of that.
Yeah. The timer
Mhm.
is key
Yeah.
because you can sit back and you can set the timer and
Yeah.
in the evening time it's gonna drip overnight and then it's gonna soak in
Mhm.
overnight and then it'll cut off sometime during the night.
Yeah, you can actually you set the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't want your plants being watered all night long. That's too much water, right?
Yeah.
So what you want to do is set a timer for your crops. So if you're going to have them to be watered in the evening for 3 hours, depending, and it's all going to depend on the temperature too.
Yeah.
Because if it's still pretty cool outside, you could probably water them for a good hour or so in the morning, and that's that.
Yeah.
And you probably don't even have to water them every day.
Yeah.
And then as the temperature rises, then you'll make the adjustment for how often you water and how much water you give them, because you do want them to get a nice deep watering the hotter it is.
Yeah.
And then the time of day that you water.
Yeah.
Because some plants don't like sitting in water all night long.
Mm.
Think about that. Like watermelon. You water. We water our watermelon during the early morning hours. And
Mm-hmm.
yes, it's going to evaporate, but there are just some plants that don't like sitting in wet soil all night long. They just don't like it.
Yeah. And there's some plants that dry out with the sun,
Yeah.
And sometimes you can water at nighttime,
Mm-hmm.
where it can get that water during the night.
That's right.
And then in the daytime, that heat,
Yeah.
they're going to use all that water.
Yeah, that's true. So
Yeah.
you do want to think about the method, whether it's going to be a watering can, some type of drip irrigation system, or whether you're going to actually set up some kind of a rain catchment.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen people set up rain catchments and then attach the water hose to it and use that on drip tape, or they may create a PVC pipe shower system of some sort. It's so many different things that you can do to water your plant. But
Yeah.
that's something you want to think about. And of course, the size of your garden is going to matter.
The space.
Yeah. If you got a massive garden, I wouldn't
yeah.
suggest hand watering.
Oh yeah, you're gonna have to go ahead. Yeah.
Invest
You
in
can
the
ask
drip.
me because before
Yes.
before drip, I was hand watering
Everything. It actually, we would be out there for hours.
Yeah.
Trying to soak everything in water. And then when it got hotter and hotter,
Yeah.
it was just
But
overwhelming to do that.
But I must say, during that season, we had so much food.
We did, because he did it. He was faithful at making sure that he watered. He would fill up the watering cans, and I would help with the watering cans, and he would take the 5-gallon bucket, and we just trying our best to get everything watered. And it was so hot out there.
Yeah, so that's why we ended up getting the drip with the timer because it wore us out. But hey, that was like our beginning years, and we did not want to fail.
That's right. We did not. We refused to fail.
Yes.
And so because of that, he was so dedicated.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go water these plants. He'd be getting off work and still go out there, and we would be out there for a few hours making sure everything was, especially in the heat.
Yeah.
When the temperatures was 90 plus and 100 degrees and all of that, Mr. H will go out there religiously in the evening and water those crops.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I got smarter. Work smart, not hard. But I had to do it because, I had to do what I had to do. Mm-hmm. And, we were so excited,
very,
to not fail and just make sure we wanted to see how successful we could be.
Yeah.
So we tried that hand watering, and hey, y'all
That's
learn.
For the birds.
Yeah. It is for the bird.
Now, it was a key point that he made too about the timer, because we had 2 garden areas. So it was beneficial for us to have a watering timer that had 4 different watering I can't think of what it's called. But anyway, it had 4 different areas that you can program the timers to start at different times, AM, PM, how long they ran, and all of that. So we did have timers on it. Even on our watermelon patch, we had the timer over there, right?
Yeah.
Even on our watermelon patch, we had a single timer over there because it was just the one area.
Yeah.
Right. So the timers are important because all you have to do is just make sure your faucet is on. And once that little box is screwed on there, all you got to do is make sure the water is on. And at the time that you set, it's going to automatically open up that port. I'm calling it a port because I can't think of what the name is, but it's going to automatically open it up, and it's going to water for however long you say to water.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some that they make that allow you to skip the watering time, especially if it's raining. You can skip that watering. All you have to do is go press one button to skip it. Mm-hmm. And then it'll shut it off for that day, right? Because it's raining, and that's what we would do.
Yeah.
So having a timer, that's very important.
Now, I just thought about 3 important things about starting this 2026 spring garden season. Mm-hmm. The watering is very important. Putting those timers on different plants. Yeah. That's very important. The second thing that I know I got to stay on top of is pests.
Yes.
Got to stay on top of pests because they can take your crop out. And the third thing is fencing. If you have birds, you want to make sure they don't go and poke holes and stuff, So those 3 things I know I got to be on top of this year because I'm not going to let no bird, I'm not going to let no insects.
No deer.
They can't take our groceries.
No. And actually, he's saying that because, we planted a fall crop of corn, pumpkin, and watermelon.
Yeah.
And I cannot tell you how many watermelon we lost due to our guineas.
Yeah.
Pecking holes in them.
Yes.
And our watermelons were so well hidden under the leaves, but somehow they found them. Yeah. And they pecked. You could just see their little pecks all everywhere, right?
Ooh.
And even in one of our pumpkins, and in fact, we have a big beautiful pumpkin out there right now. I don't know how they missed it,
Yeah.
but it's out there and it's still
I
growing and
think
it's
three of them.
huge.
Yeah, we got three of them.
Yeah, they're huge.
And I think that one bounced back.
Well, the one that they pecked the hole in, it rotted.
No, it bounced back.
No, I'm talking about the one that rotted. I
Oh
had to
yeah.
take it out of the
Okay.
garden. Yeah,
Yeah.
I had to take the whole pumpkin out of the garden because it was attracting so many pests in the
Yeah.
garden. And I didn't want to touch it because it was all mushy.
Yeah.
And so I had to get it out of the garden, and I'm like, I ain't have my gloves.
Yeah.
And so I took it over to the chickens and they took care of it.
Yeah.
But they waited until that pumpkin was about like this and start pecking holes in it.
I tell you.
But we're growing Big Mac's pumpkin out
Yeah.
there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I put in a few sugar pie.
Yeah.
I don't know if I put in sugar pie or not, but the watermelons that we planted were sugar baby.
Mm-hmm.
And we lost about 75% of them. We still have some out there right now that's growing nicely, but they really destroyed them, which
Yeah.
is why Mr. H is saying that, he's going to
we
have
got
to
to.
put up a perimeter. And we
Yeah.
do have some ideas for that.
Yeah, yeah, because you can put all this work in, and when you just in the house doing whatever you do, the pests
Minding your own business.
they taking your stuff out, y'all.
And then if you live in a community or a neighborhood, you got to think about, are the neighbors' dogs going to be able to run through your garden? Do you have issues with rabbits and squirrels and things of that nature?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be thinking right now on how you are going to protect your garden from those type of animals and rodents too, like rats and voles and whatnot. And typically, you may not have issues with rats, but you may have some issues with bunny rabbits.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going to be growing root crops like carrots or
Mm-hmm.
little melons. Rabbits love melon.
Yeah.
They will bite out of one and move on to they'll just take a bite out of every melon you got.
Yeah. So that's why it's good to have a couple of cats. Farm
Definitely,
cats.
definitely.
People underestimate cats, but
definitely
cats keep away snakes. They keep away the small rodents.
They do.
Yes,
they do.
I said it's best to have cats than to have all those rodents.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Yes. Another thing to consider is what type of gardening, right?
Yes.
Are you going to do an in-ground garden? Are you going to do container gardens? Are you going to do vertical gardens? Are you going to specifically just grow in maybe a high tunnel or something of that nature? How are you going to be growing your food? What do you want to do?
Yeah.
So you think about that based upon the space that you have. I know some people, they only have a small amount of space. So they use these different towers and you have so many. I know there's some people who got some from the Dollar Tree, and I'm trying to tell you, if they wouldn't have told me they came from the Dollar Tree, I would not have ever guessed it.
Yeah.
Because they were able to grow a lot of food inexpensively in those little grow towers that they would put together. Of course, you got to buy each. I think each bin comes separate or something.
Mm-hmm.
But they were buying them and they were growing beautifully in those little towers.
Yeah.
Some people grow in big pots. Some people make containers.
Mm-hmm.
Some people build raised beds if you're going to do raised bed gardening or in ground. It doesn't matter. But you decide on how you want to grow and then base your design around that. Make it nice and personalized
you
to
can
you.
Design it the way how you want to.
Yeah.
You can paint it a beautiful color to match your patio deck.
Yeah.
With the raised beds. To that advantage, you won't have problems with voles.
That's right.
Because
that's right. Now, if you do have voles, I'll say this: if you do have voles, you are going to want to get yourself some hardware cloth. And you're going to unroll that down before you do anything else. Roll that down, put your raised bed on top of it. Make sure that hardware cloth is stapled to the bottom of your raised bed all the way around. Make sure it's stapled and then have it flat on the ground. And then put your cardboard down and your
soil.
Your maybe your twigs and maybe your logs, depending on how deep that raised bed is. You may want to use some, round logs about like so, and basically what that's doing is filling up some of that space at the bottom so you don't have to have 2 feet of soil, right?
Yeah.
So it's filling up some space. Plus, the logs will act as a sponge and kind of hold in some of the moisture for you if you're doing raised beds.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something to consider as well if you're going to do raised beds and you got a vole problem or even a mold problem. Put some hardware cloth down to keep them out.
Yeah,
of
because
your
they can't
garden.
come up through that wire.
No, they can't chew through that.
Yeah.
Can you use chicken wire? No, they'll tear that up real quick.
Yeah.
So no, you can't use chicken wire. It has to be hardware cloth, and you can get that from anywhere, really.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, designing your garden to fit your patio, your backyard. A lot of times, a backyard space is a blessing. If you got direct sun,
Yes.
You already got your fence around there, and then you don't have to worry about deers because it's kind of contained.
That's right, and it's close by your house.
I'm telling you.
So hopefully they won't come up on your back porch.
Yeah, because when you live out in the country, you got deers, you got coyotes, you got different wild animals.
Yeah.
But like if you stay in an area like that, which is contained, you got raised beds. Yep. You're going to do pretty good.
You can do really, really well with a raised bed garden. Yes. I've seen people grow tons of food from a few raised beds. Okay. Now, another thing to think about when you're planting your garden, don't forget those herbs and vegetables that you can use to make some delicious spices out of. Yeah. Right. If you remember the video we talked about last week, we talked about contaminated spices, right? If you haven't seen that video, we're going to leave the link at the end of this one, okay?
Yeah.
But you can start growing your own peppers to make your own paprika. You can grow rosemary and thyme, all of these herbs that you can use in your everyday cooking. Try to find a way to incorporate those into your garden. Yeah. There are some things that I wouldn't put in a raised bed that you're going to be using to grow your vegetables in. Like if you're going to be growing mint, something like that, or lemon balm, or put it in a pot. Because if you don't, you ain't growing nothing in that bed, okay? Because it's going to take over the whole bed eventually, right? And even rosemary. Rosemary, you can plant it in a spot in your raised bed. It's going to get fairly large. Yeah. So if you don't mind that, that's fine. But I would say put your rosemary in a container or a really big container, okay? So it can reach its full potential. Put it in a really big container and you'll be surprised at how big rosemary will get. But think about incorporating your herbs into your garden space as well, and your favorite flowers.
Yes, and also plant the flowers that attract pollinators. Mrs. H did that, and we had butterflies all over the place. We got the honeybees, and they're gonna make those. They're gonna pollinate those crops. I'm telling you.
Yes. My favorite flowers are zinnias, and they were all over the garden. And of course, I did have other flowers throughout the garden, but my favorite are the zinnias, and I had different varieties planted everywhere. I did have different varieties of marigolds and whatnot too, but the bees love zinnias. They were all over the zinnias more than they were the marigolds and other flowers. So make sure you include a pollinator-friendly flower and all of that in the garden too. You got to remember your pollinators.
Yes.
Another thing I wanted to make sure I mentioned is that when you're planting your garden and you're putting in herbs that are perennials, remember they're going to be coming back in that space every year. Okay?
Same space.
Yeah, they're not going to die. Even if they look like they're dead, they're not dying off. The roots are still doing very well underneath the soil. So you will see them emerge again in the spring, okay? Yeah. So remember, if you're planting perennial herbs, make sure that you're putting them in a space that you don't mind seeing them every single year, okay?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and another thing that Mr. H reminded me of was planting crops and flowers that are also good for pest control.
Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know how those pests are. You know, we have a problem with our squash, those squash bugs. I mean, those squash bugs give us so much trouble.
Ain't nothing we can do about it either.
Sometimes we have to just wait until the squash bug season is over with,
We do.
but we still got them crawling around in October, y'all.
Right now, they everywhere. But that's okay because we have already decided that we will never plant squash again in the spring. That will be a fall crop only,
Yeah,
and we will plant a ton of it
yeah,
because even if we only get one or two big harvests, that's good. I'm just gonna either can it or freeze it, but that's it because they just won't survive in the spring or the summer months. We have to wait until later on to plant the
yeah.
squash. But you definitely want to consider planting, interplanting different herbs, even like basil,
Mm-hmm.
right? You can plant marigolds. There's just different things you can plant. You can plant nasturtiums or what is the other one that I planted? Calendula. You can plant different types of flowers and herbs that you can put down as trap plants to hopefully attract the pests to these plants, right? Instead
Mm.
of to your main crop. And
Yeah.
basil is just so strong altogether
Mm.
that it kind of helps to ward off certain pests.
Yeah.
And you can interplant onions in your garden or garlic in your garden
Mm.
because the smell is so pungent
Yeah.
in the soil that also acts as a deterrent for some pests, not all,
Yeah.
but some, right? So you want to think about that. And then there are just some pests, you're just going to have to go out there and deal with them on your own. And that brings us to the next point. Are you planning to spray in your garden?
Yeah.
If so, what are you going to use in your garden as a source of pest control?
Yeah.
Now, I want to just kind of tell you
Mm-hmm.
about what we do and what we don't do. We do not use synthetic chemicals in our garden. Okay? Why? Because if you're using 7 dusts or 8 dusts or whatever it's called, if you're using 7 and 8 dusts,
uh-huh.
it's probably 8 by now with all them toxic
Oh
chemicals.
man.
But if you're using something like that and you're putting that in your garden, not only are that's what you're giving to your plants, that's what you're giving to your soil.
Mm.
And of course, your plants are taking in what you give it. And then when you harvest, you're eating what you have given to your plants,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you got to know if it's not natural, then you're putting it inside of your body. What harm are you possibly doing to your body?
Yeah. You think about the 7 dust on a crop when it rains, it goes down in the soil. The roots of the plant sucks all that up with the rain and water, comes up through the fruit, and then you eat it.
So if you're using chemicals like that, just think about what those chemicals are doing to all of our pollinators. Think about why we're losing millions of honeybees every single year because they're coming in contact with these chemicals.
Yes.
And it's just killing off our bees. And if we don't have pollinators, we don't have food, right?
Yes.
So just keep that in mind as well, you all.
Yes. Because you got to be very careful with these chemicals because it's so easy to say, okay, I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
solve this problem by just spraying, and I'm not worried about no insects. So I'm not worried about no weeds. I'm going to spray this, I'm going to spray that. And when you get all those crops in, that's why a lot of people are coming up with
All these different illnesses.
illnesses. Yes.
Because they spraying almost. Come on, don't use harsh chemicals. That's our suggestion. Okay. Now, of course, it's your garden,
Mm-hmm.
but we're just making the suggestion that you don't do that because you really are what you eat.
Yeah.
So be mindful of what you are using in your
Yeah.
garden.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, another thing is that plant some things that are for fun. It's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
If you've never eaten a purple carrot, plant them.
Yeah.
You might love them.
Yeah.
And plus, it's just cute to look at once you harvest them. It's so much fun.
Yeah, I experimented with the black tomato, but it took so long it wouldn't get
It took forever to ripe.
it wouldn't get right. It just I don't
It took
know.
forever because the tomato that he's talking about, you literally have to, that tomato stayed on the plant, seemed like for decades, in order in order for it to actually ripen, because it
Yeah.
has to ripen on the vine, right? It has to
Yeah.
ripen on the tomato plant. And now once they did turn completely black and he ate them, I mean, they were absolutely delicious. I
Yeah.
kid you not. They tasted amazing. But they take forever. And we was
Yeah.
like, okay, it's just not worth all of this.
Maybe I'd probably
Yeah.
try 2 plants and see what will happen.
We'll see. Yeah.
Yeah, to see, can we, do it better than what we did.
Mm-hmm.
But we tried.
Yeah. But
Something
definitely plant.
fun.
Yeah, but definitely plant something that's fun, something
Yeah.
that be interesting to grow. Like this year was our first year planting the asparagus bean or the Chinese noodle red bean, right?
Yeah.
And we did not harvest those to eat them.
Huh.
We grew them specifically to get the seeds because the seeds were so expensive. And so I said, you know what? Every last one of these are going to seed.
Yeah.
And I left them all there. And now I can't tell you how many we got out. It seemed like, I don't know, hundreds of them out there full of seed. And that was the reason why we grew them. Okay.
Yeah.
And so now when we grow them again, it won't just be for fun. It'll be for us to, we can really start eating and harvest. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to make sure we had an abundance of seed because I did not want to spend $5 on those seeds again.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I saved the seed from them, you all. So make sure you do something for fun, no matter what it is.
You gotta have fun. Gotta do something for fun. Like we talked about the different colors, the decoration that she had out there. And I was so relaxed, but I believe that we're gonna get a chance to go out there and enjoy our garden the way how we want to.
Yeah, we are. So make sure you decorate your garden. Make sure it reflects your personality.
Yeah.
Right. Make sure, if you love, I don't care what it is. Some people like garden gnomes. If you like garden gnomes, and put them all in your garden. You like butterflies, and put them all over your garden. Whatever it is that reflects your personality, the things that you love, the things that make your heart smile.
Yeah.
Put those things in your garden.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, like if you trellis stuff that they go vertical, if you got a small area and the sun is beaming down on your patio, well, why don't you just have,
a nice big trellis?
It'll block the sun out.
Yes.
And so, you'll be able to have it. That's fun. You can have that as a nice little functioning space.
That's growing your food and providing some shade.
Yeah. And relaxation.
That's true.
And you can play music or whatever you want to do in your garden. It's your space. Create it the way how you want to create it to have fun.
That's right.
Yes.
All right, y'all. That's going to do it. I think we probably missed something. If we did, y'all post it in the comment section below because we're going to help each other, right? So post it in the comment section below if you could think of some other things that we can do to prepare for the 2026 garden season. We know we're going to be getting our seeds, right? Our seed shop will be opening up again in December.
Yes.
It will.
Yes.
It'll be opening up in December. So y'all will be able to get your seeds and start getting those seeds ready for planting in January if it's your peppers. Now, one thing I'm going to tell you that you can probably go ahead and start right now, and that's going to be your artichoke. So if you're doing a purple artichoke or a green globe artichoke, go ahead and get those seeds started right now because it takes forever for those seeds to germinate and grow and be large enough to put in the ground in the spring. And I'm going to tell you the mistake that I made when we planted those artichokes. We planted them in the watermelon patch. Bad idea, because the watermelon, they overran them, they took over, and the vines were all over, and it literally smothered the artichokes. They did not grow. They did not survive it, right? Make sure that you have, if you're going to do artichokes and you put them in the ground, make sure you got plenty of organic matter in the soil because they love it. They are heavy, heavy, heavy feeders. And the more organic matter you have in your soil, the better chance you'll have of your artichokes surviving once you transplant them. Okay? So that's
Yes.
just a quick little tip.
Yeah.
But y'all, I think that's going to do it for tonight's Monday Night Chat. Hopefully you enjoyed this Monday Night Chat. Please remember to post your comments below if there's something else that we can think of to do for our 2026 garden preparation. Let everybody know.
Yes. Let us know in the comment section, and also give the video a thumbs up.
Yes.
Comment
Yes.
and subscribe to our channel. Thank you all so much for watching Monday Night Chats with
With
Homestead Heart.
Homestead Heart.
Yes.
We will see y'all in the next video. And remember, y'all, get ready to grow them groceries.
Grow the groceries, y'all. Yes, y'all. Peace.